Chapter 2, New Summer. Many months passed, and despite small raids from wandering war bands and the absence of the king, the realm thrived under the watchful eye and supervision of Erebus. The people of Devonia had little to fear as new farms and mines began to spring up across the kingdom, bringing a thin veil of wealth and happiness. But it was known it would not be long before word would come, asking their sons, husbands, fathers and brothers to march north to give their lives in the service of their new kingdom.
Hi guys, and welcome to episode 7 of For the Kingdom. So I've been hard at work this week. As you can see behind me, I've been doing a little bit of a few things off camera because, you've seen me build roads once. You don't want to see me build them again, unless you do, in which case put it down in the comments. But some of the things we've been doing is we've actually gotten round to decorating our villager homes. So let's go and have a little quick look at what they're getting up to and see how they're getting on there. So here's the first one. As you can see, they're very proud supporters of the kingdom with their patriotic flags hanging up all over the place. I don't know what's going on there. You fighting each other. But so you got this house. It is really basic decorations for these homes. I mean, it's still better than the wooden shacks that they normally live in. And as you can see, they've already got a bit of additional security has spawned in, and who's giving me a bit of a side eye. He's like, yeah, fella, I'm gonna stand in this doorway, and you better this corner, and you better be gone when I turn around, or I'm gonna have you. So yeah, that's what that's about. And there you go, see more flags. And what we're going to do is just have a look at the one across the road here. Now, this is actually my favourite one. I don't know why, I just like this one. And so there you go, see, basic decorations. And if we come up here, there you go, see, and they're quite happy. Are you happy? You're not happy. Oh, okay. Never mind then. Shaking his bloody head at me. But one's escaped. Oh well. I mean, there's plenty in there, and we've set up an auto feeder for them as well, so they'll sort of breed over time anyway. And then we've got this one round here, and as you can see, this one's got a bit more decoration on the ground floor. But again, it's really basic decoration because, I mean, they are villagers, and they don't need a lot. They're fine. They're happy. But more importantly, other things that have been going on. So you guys did leave down in the comments some suggestions for things. And Cheeky Wee Man, who is becoming quite a regular commenter, suggested that next we should build a bakery and a farm, or a farm. Now, I don't know about you guys, I thought about that kind of logically, and I was like, do you know what? Yes, because at the moment I'm still living on murdered cows, which is all fine, but an all meat-based diet is not the best thing because it gives you gas and other problems. But so we need some roughage. So we are going to build some farms so we can get some bread, but we need to build the farms first before the bakery because bakeries need grain. Grain comes from wheat, and so we need a farm first. But other than that, we had Lawrence Mole, who is also becoming one of our top fans, somebody who's continually commenting, which is good, and he suggested a name for our library. Now, he suggested two different things. So what I decided to do is take a bit of a mix of both of them. So that's what we're going to do. So if we go over to the library here, and he's given us two name suggestions. Okay, so what he suggested is a name from history, which is Ash. You'll have to forgive me. It's a bit of a long word, and I'm trying to write it down while reading at the same time because I don't want to misspell it. So there we go. Ashurbanipal. Tell me if that's spelt right. Well, not spelt right. Tell me if that's pronounced right down in the comments, because I have no idea. But I will master the pronunciation of it by the end of the episode. And the last one is Denators, which is a library from Lord of the Rings, I believe he said. And what we're going to do is we're going to pretend that these two words is the name, so the first name being Ashurbanipal. We're going to pretend that this is a guy that owns this library and he lives somewhere in the world. Maybe later on we'll even name a villager after this guy. And I think that would be really cool. And that's already adding a bit of lore to the world. It's really difficult to type and speak at the same time, but there we go, and I think that looks really good. I like that. That's a good name. It's a long name, and I'll try and use it often, but so Try and give me a bit easier name next time. But other things we've been doing is, I said in the last episode, we changed the texture pack and we added these. It's a bit bushier, but I have found some other things that has actually changed, other than the windows and the trees and the bushes. And although I like these features, I'm not really going to use them that often, because on my main builds anyway. So like when you're seeing these time lapses, I won't use it on those, because obviously you might want to build these, and you know, some of these textures you might not be able to use. So if you use these slabs in this texture pack and then do that, it makes planks go in the opposite direction. And then if you add two stone brick slabs together, they make these sort of grey pillars, which are very cool. But for the main buildings that you'll see time lapses of, I won't be using those. But when we come to building the peasant houses and things like that, then I probably will, because you won't see time lapses on those builds. But yeah, so if you just follow along this road here, as you can see, we've built this big long road, and you're probably thinking to yourself, oh yeah, but you haven't put the things along the side like you normally do, and oh yeah, and you was whinging in your video on how to make roads and how having no stuff on them makes them look boring. Well, that's because that little bit there is actually going to have buildings along it eventually, and I didn't see the point in doing it just yet. However, as we start to come up to where we're going to be building the farm, as you can see, I've laid out a lot of the foundation area already. You can see the decorations starting to come in, and we've built this custom tree here, which you know, I like it. It's using a mix of leaves. I thought I'd go for something a bit different, but I haven't planted anything yet. So at the moment, we've just got these big puddly fields with not a lot going on in them. See? We've got these like puddly fields going on. And yeah, so we've got that. And we've got the little sign there telling us which is what way. And what we'll do first, we'll just go and have a look at what the mill's going to be. So what I've decided is I'm not going to go with your generic mill that you normally see. Although having said that, it is a bit generic. But we're going for this other kind of medieval style. So it's like a windmill, but it's kind of stood on these big supports. But as you can see, he's going to be quite a big boy. And he's going to stand up on this hill, but it should blend in quite nicely. In fact, I've just realised it's actually quite a nice shot from up there of like the area. There you go. So you can kind of see how big this farm's going to be, and it spreads down there. I might even expand it a little bit and add some more farmhouses. Maybe make it a little bit like the Shire or something like that. But so over here, over here, he says, is where we're going to build the barn and the farmhouse. Now, the farmhouse is going to be an interesting thing on its own, but I'll get to that in a moment. But here's where the barn's going to be. Now, those of you that are in my exclusive mailing list may have seen the design, so you already know what you're looking forward to. We may change some bits on it, but there you go. It's going to be quite a large one. Now, where I live, I've always wondered. Like, there's a lot of old farms, like medieval, like ones dating back quite a long time. So I come from the West Country in England, and you have these like walled off farms, and apparently they exist in other parts of the world as well. And all I can assume that is that they were built like almost like little castles to protect people, because obviously, you know, you live in a farm, you live in the middle of nowhere, so you have a little walled off area. And I thought this would be a really good idea for here. So they're called Fortified Farms. There are other names for them, but I thought it was easier to remember Fortified Farms. And I thought this would be good, because then I'll be able to have villagers in here that aren't going to get killed by the raiders that we spoke about in the beginning of the video. So yeah, like, you know, we're going to have a little house, a barn, and some other little bits in here, and this is where they're going to live, and a well, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so there are some other features in the texture pack as well, going back to that, but I haven't been able to find any of the examples of it, other than fences. They look like wood, like stripped wood, as opposed to planks, which I think is also good as well, because it's really good for making custom trees like this. But yeah, so I guess the first thing we're going to do is, because we're going to spread the builds out across the episode rather than doing them all in one go, or at least that's my hope, but we'll see how it goes. So we'll crack on first, and I think we'll start with the windmill. You know, yeah, let's start with the windmill. Let's get on with that time lapse. Ah, what a lovely morning waking up to in my nice new barn. There we go. I love this crane that I've done. Do you know what? Out of both the windmill and this barn, this crane is my favourite thing. Yeah, I just love the use. Chains, I think I've said it before, absolutely fantastic since they've added them. But as you can see, we've decorated the inside of our barn a little bit. Not too much because I've run out of hay bales, but sometimes less is more. And I think I'm actually going to leave it like this because, yeah, it looks good. So we're just going to go down the ladder here. And I've done this sort of like very thin ladder using trapdoors. Don't open the back of it though, because the ladder will fall off. But it looks really good. So over here though, what we're going to do is we're going to put in some fences. In fact, I'm going to do that while I've got, because I've got the fences in my hand at the moment. So how big should we have it? 3, 4. We'll have it 3, I think. So just come across like that. Put a little bit in there. And I don't know what we're going to keep in there, but maybe I don't know, maybe pigs. Keep some pigs in there, you know, because it wouldn't be unreasonable to think that people would keep pigs in a barn, or maybe cows. I don't know, something in there, you know, somewhere where they can shelter for the winter. But everything we've done as well is we've planted all of our fields. So if we just come up this little bit of a hill here and jump on top of this bush, we can have a look out over our fields. And as you can see, we've got some wandering salesman who's, get out of my crops, you bugger. But yeah, there we go, and the barn's finished. So we'll just come around the side and have a look at that. And there you go. All done. And my donkey's in the way. Move. Yeah, see? Look. Lovely barn. I'd live there. Well, you're not going to be living there. It's a barn. That's what the house is for. And over here we've got our windmill. We've got our scarecrows as well. Have a look at these. Look at these. Look at them. Aren't they cool? I've changed the colour of their shirts a little bit so they look a bit different. There's one over there, a yellow one as well. But we're going to take a shortcut rather than going up the entire path. And here's the windmill. And from a distance, the windmill I actually really like. And as you see what I mean, it's a little bit different. It stands on something a bit different. Now, I know that the side of it looks a bit plain, but if you have a look at these style of windmills, they are some of the plainest looking windmills I have ever seen in my life. In fact, this is actually more detailed than the original windmill it is. Before we leave the farm and get on with the other things we need to do today, is we are going to finish planting our carrot crop because that needs to be done. So just if we follow up the path here, come up here and you'll see the style of fencing change to like this cobblestone wall as we go up along here. Now my plan is later on is to build more farms dotted around. We'll probably have an animal farm, you know, maybe a farm that specialises in pumpkins and melons and things like that, and you know, and do a bit more stuff over time, and it'll almost be like their own like little settlements. You know, like how we've got the farm we're going to build over there in a minute, which is kind of walled in, and we'll have those kind of things going on. And it'll be the same when I build the sawmill eventually as well. That'll be its own like little village type thing, and that's how we're going to expand the kingdom and its kind of lore, because there'll all be little areas, although this is a farm that clearly comes under the capital itself. Trust me, there'll be a lot of road building need doing, so if you do decide that you want to see me build more roads, just bear that in mind, that there is going to be a lot of roads that need building. So yes, word to the wise, you probably don't want to see me build more roads. I mean, when this world is all eventually done, in fact, I don't know how long I plan on doing this world for. My initial plan was going to be just 52 episodes, taking me up to the end of the year. But I think I'll just carry on doing this, to be honest. Yeah, and hopefully we'll start getting some visitors, and you know, people popping by, and we'll see what happens. You know, now that we're, you know, an up and running, thriving kingdom, there's no reason why people wouldn't want to come and trade with us. So we'll see what happens in the future. I swear I just heard something. I think it might have been something not on the game. But yeah, we'll just plant these carrots here, and then when these are all done, we'll be able to trade with the villagers that will eventually be in the farmhouse over there for emeralds. And, you know, I know these aren't the most efficient farms in the world, but, like, as I say, these farms are here mainly for aesthetic purposes, you know, for the way they look more than anything else. And you know, they all look really cool. In fact, if we go up to the windmill again, and we'll look out across the sort of, it's not really a valley, but out over the rolling hills. And as you can see, I've done the texturing up here as well. There you go. You can see how it looks, and that's what I mean. I think it needs to be filled in over there as well. But as you're walking away from the city, it kind of looks all right. It looks as it's meant to look. So if we just have a little wander back down here, I do like that tree. I need to do more custom trees, I think. You know, I would do a tutorial on custom trees, but there's not really a way you can do it. There you go. Have a look at that. In fact, you know what? I'm going to use this opportunity to do a thumbnail. So we're just going to turn off that, and then bada bim, bada boom. There we go. Thumbnail. If you follow me on Instagram, by all means, jump on there, give it a like, give it a comment, and tell me what you think. But we do have to do a couple of other things first today before we crack on with building the house. I'm not going to do a time lapse of that because, you know, I've already given you enough of one of those today. So I'll just do it, and then I'll walk around it and show it to you, and then we'll move the villagers in afterwards. But the other things we have to do today is I did realise, actually, when I was editing the clip from the beginning of the episode, I spelt Denethor wrong. So I'm going to fix that, and then I'll crack on with doing the house. Okay, so you joined me just outside the front of my barn again. We're back from sorting out the small signage issue and building the new farmhouse. There are a couple of things I'm going to change about it as time goes on, but first of all we're going to just talk a little bit about it. So as you can see, I've gone with a similar design for the roof. However, due to a shortage of oak, I've decided to go cobblestone. But we've encountered the same sort of problem there as we do on quite a few of our buildings, where the roof seems really flat and plain. Now, I don't know whether I can sort of spruce that up a little bit with a little bit of, spruce, or whether to put another window in there. But I'll decide that later on, but I won't be going into that too much detail at the moment. But first thing we've got to do is this big, flat, ugly wall. Look at it. Yeah, it's no good. That's something we're going to have to texturise in a minute, but I'll just show you around indoors. There we go. Just close the gate behind us, because if you live in the countryside, leaving gates open is considered a little bit rude. So we've got like another little sort of kind of like a stable / storage area. Got a little area where our farmers are going to be working and sorting stuff out, and you know they're going to be making tools and bits and bobs like you would. But yeah, there you go. So this is where I'm going to come to all my farm trading in here. We've done this nice little well. As well, a little well as well, and yeah, so that's an infinite source there, which is quite cool. But you know, you can see like this wall, it just won't do. So we will texturise that in a minute. Got downstairs, let's say plain furniture again, because you know it's only going to be villagers. You know, who cares about them? And especially these ones, because these are peasants and they live in the countryside. So what we're going to do, we're just going to run over to the barn, because I'm pretty sure I did leave the bits that I need in there for texturing the wall. Yeah, so there's some of it. Yeah, that's what I need. Some of those bricks, some cobble, bit of gravel, some more cracked bricks. Oh, we'll take them bushes as well, I think. Is that it? Is that everything I need? I think that's everything I need. Oh, more cracked bricks. Can never have enough cracked bricks, believe me. They take so long to bloody make. So yeah, so what we're going to do, I'm just going to go through texturing this wall. So at the moment, as I say, it's big, it's flat, it's ugly. What we're going to do, we're going to take out a couple of blocks here and there. So you don't want to follow any sort of pattern. You want to kind of just do it randomly. So you know, there's no sort of pattern to it. But the problem is, like, human mind, it does kind of try to set a pattern. So it's kind of hard to do random things. Let's just clear that mess up there. Right, let's see, what do we want? So we want a bit of gravel. Bit of stone brick, bit of flat, just normal flat stone, bit of cracked brick, and mossy brick. Have I got any mossy cobblestone? Pretty sure I do somewhere. Have I got it in here? If not, we can always come back and do that at a later time. Ah, there's some mossy cobblestone, but there's not very much of it, so we'll just do a little bit and then we'll add that another day. What am I talking about? No, we'll go get the mossy cobblestone now. Right, we're back and we've got mossy cobblestone. We've also, I forgot to mention, we've put on a set of dungarees now that we're out in the countryside doing some farming. What do you think? I like them. I think they look pretty cool. We might keep this as a sort of a permanent feature for a little while, because I was getting a bit tired of just looking at me normal bare chest out here running around in a while. But let's get on with this texturing, shall we? So yeah, so we're going to put... Now, what you'll often find is along the bottom will not be that great. So I'll tell you what, we'll take out a few more blocks. Now I don't know how this is going to look. I think I've got some dirt blocks in here. Let's go get those. And we're going to have like the bottom of the wall is like a little bit dirty, and hence why we're going to use dirt on it. But I think dirt is definitely an underused block when it comes to things. Oh, actually, do you know what? I can already see how that's going to look, and I quite like that actually. So yeah, I'm going to stick some cracked bricks just randomly. Stick another mossy cobblestone over here. Now, I don't know if any of you have noticed my voice. It may have changed slightly between scenes. I am messing around with the office at the moment, unfortunately, and just seeing how some different things work. There we go. That looks a lot better, doesn't it? So I'm trying to work on reducing the echo at the moment. So I'm thinking on putting a curtain across the room to basically reduce the feedback or echo, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean when I say echo. And yeah, hopefully in the future, it might be a little while yet, but the audio is going to get better. There we go. I think that's random enough, isn't it? And then we'll put one of those there, one of those there. Stick a couple in the corner. And yeah, we're just basically going to go around the whole building, whole wall like this, and finish that off. We need to put some of these dirt blocks in the bottom there. Is that enough dirt blocks? Do you know what? That's the thing. Is that when you question yourself, is that enough? It's like, if it's random, you'll know. You'll just know. You'll just look at it and you go, nah, it's not enough, or it is enough. So for me, that's not enough. But you need to make it random. There we go. So we're going to stick those two on the end. And it's like, yeah, it might look a bit naff, but it's random. That's the whole point. It's like, it's not supposed to follow any sort of set pattern. Because there's no straight lines in nature, as some people say. There we go. Yeah, I like that. I like the way that looks. So yeah, we'll just go around the whole building and do that. Yeah. Oh god, that's quite a long wall. I'll be back in a second. Okay, we're back. We've finished the wall, and as you probably saw, we got set upon by some zombies in the night. But no worry, I am a highly skilled axeman, and yeah, I have at them. So let's have a wander around this wall and have a look at it, shall we? So yeah, so we'll come out here. There you go. Look at that. Much better. It fits in. It fits in a lot more. It's a lot more random. And yeah, that definitely is going to need a window or something. But there you go. And you got sort of what you've got is this dirt coming up the wall a little bit. You know, it's a little bit dirty. A little bit dirty coming up the wall. And all we're going to do now is we're going to add a few bushes here and there. And because I ain't got that many flowers at the moment, so we're just going to do what we can. Now, I think I talked about bushes in one of my tutorial videos, but essentially, when you're coming up a wall, you want to try and this third block here, or this middle block, you want to try and avoid putting stuff in that until you get closer to the top, because that's where you're going to be sort of branching out a little bit like that, see? Whereas before it's kind of like creeping up the wall, and if you, well, there you go, see, it just doesn't look right unless you're filling out the bottom as well, but I'll do that over here and you'll see what I mean. Oh no, I can't do it there because I've got fences everywhere else. But yeah, there's a skeleton around there, so we'll leave him alone because we don't want to tango with that today. And we'll just stick some bushes, some happy little bushes that we've talked about before. There you go, just randomly, and then don't forget the bush at the bottom. Don't forget bushy bottoms. There we go. Doing a bit of bush along there. Let's go right around the front. We're not going to put one on every corner, but we're going to put some at the front now by the main gate, and then that should finish it off. I might add some more bits later on, but I haven't really got a lot of time today for that. Oh yeah, there we go. That looks right. I'm happy with that. Yeah, it's quite pleasing on the eye, if I don't say so myself. Yeah, that's a little 3 wide one there. And just another bit. There we go. We got any flowers? And let's just have a look, see if we have got some flowers, because we'll add some of them in as well. You can see I've added some in here. I do like them because they offer a bit of extra colour, which you don't get a lot of when you're building sort of like medieval style, unless you add in these things. And I do think they should add some other 2 block high flowers, maybe some yellow ones, some or maybe some like more 2-block high greenery. But unfortunately, that'll do. It's just the one. Do you know what? I said about randomness, and sometimes if you've only got the one left, just the one will do. One is fine. So we'll just stick him. Where should we stick him? Let's stick. I reckon there. Yeah, that looks alright. We'll just stick a bit of grass around the outside, and that'll finish us off. There you go. I need to get some of the 2-block high stuff. Grass. I know you can do it with bone meal, but like I've run out of bone meal at the moment. Yeah, I'm happy with that farm. And so between episodes, what we'll do is we'll move the villagers in. We'll see how they're getting on. We'll start doing some trading with them, and that'll be good stuff. We'll be rolling in emeralds. It'll be so rich we won't know what to do with it. But until then, do me a favour. Drop it down in the comments. What do you think this farm should be called? Have a look, have a look around, come up with a good idea, and let me know in the comments. Let me know what you thought of the episode. If you've liked this episode, subscribe. And if you haven't liked this episode, subscribe anyway. But that's all for me, guys. Until the next time, that's it from me for the kingdom. See you later.